She's got some nice long hair.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube. And if you're listening out there, rate the show 5 stars. It helps tremendously. We continue to raise money for the Thorn organization that helps fight against human trafficking. And it started by the one, the only Ashton Kutcher and fellow Bears fans. So absolutely incredible. Make sure to rate 5 stars. For every 5-star rating out there on Apple Podcasts, I will donate an additional $1. Also, for those watching out on YouTube, you can see some of the merch down below that we have out there. Super cheap. I have a whole bunch coming. I'm so excited to see it. And for those listening, you can also see it out in the show description. $20 for a t-shirt. You can't beat it. But today what we will be doing is we will be breaking down the preview of the Texans. And joining me, as always, for these previews, the one, the only, Johnny PayPal. Johnny, how you doing?
I love the introduction, Brad. Thank you. Thank you very much. Doing pretty good. Doing very well. Yeah, just been chilling. I've been playing Far Cry 5. That's the new game I've been playing. And I mean, not too much. I'm just pretty fresh into it, but a lot of fun. Just great to have like an open world game, one of those, once in a while, and just kind of relax.
Oh, nice.
Not all that Warzone and Fortnite and stuff. So
yeah,
it's a great break.
Yeah, I was playing a little bit of Skyrim, and it was pretty fun.
Gosh.
But also, my wife and I just finished The Boys on Amazon. I
Mm.
don't know if anyone's seen The Boys. Have you seen The Boys at all?
No,
Johnny PayPal?
I've been hearing like such good things about it, especially because I'm anti-superhero. I'm not
you
a
would
big
like it.
superhero guy, but yeah, like I liked Invincible a lot. That was on Amazon Prime. I thought that was insane. I'm a big gore guy. I think it adds. Well, not like
I know what you mean.
I
know
think
what you
it
mean.
adds a lot to show like emotion or like show kind of how
Like
know,
WTF.
strong. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see you there, and that's where like I think you might like The Boys. The Boys is pretty good. It's not like, to me, I don't find it like absolutely amazing, like the greatest thing of all time, but it's a really good show. Like I don't think it's up there with Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad is my favorite show.
I was about to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a Breaking Bad in my mind, but it's like a good show, especially the first season I thought was really good. And the last season they had was real good, but you'll like it because it's similar to Invincible. But let's start talking hopefully we get some superhuman performances out of the Chicago Bears today.
Hopefully Justin Fields is invincible. We do not want him getting injured.
Yeah, he takes the beating at the final episode and fights back. But we shall see. So today what we will be doing is breaking down Chicago and Houston Texans. So for those that haven't listened, make sure to listen to, we had Parker Ainsworth from the Effin Sports Podcast. He's a Houston Texans beat writer. He broke down the Texans just in great detail. Absolutely great overview there. So you want to make sure to listen to that. It's just out on our channel or the episode right before this for those listening. But today what we're going through is injury report and news, then go through the key additions and losses for the Texans, positional breakdown, and last but not least, the game predictions. So starting things off with the injury report, we're recording this on Thursday night, so we at least have 2 days of the injury report. It's a lot bigger than what we're used to, type of thing. We have linebacker Matt Adams with a hamstring injury. Dane Cruikshank, the defensive back, did not participate Wednesday and Thursday. And also we have Ryan Griffin with an Achilles injury, did not participate Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know how a minor Achilles injury is, but because I feel like if it's like an Achilles injury, he's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
right?
You don't just kind of like tweak your Achilles. It's kind of
is it like a Kevin Durant issue where it's like hanging on by a thread and eventually it's going to kind of pop off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then we have Jaylon Johnson limited with a quad injury. Velus Jones did not participate on Wednesday, but was limited on Thursday. Positive sign, but I feel like he did that again last week as well. And kind of a surprise, Roquan Smith has not participated on Wednesday and has not participated on Thursday due to a hip injury. Johnny, anything that really kind of pops out for you out here?
Well, our number one tight end, Ryan Griffin. um,
Right? Yeah.
our number one tight end is out. So hopefully, yeah, he can. It's not a serious Achilles, but never heard of that thing before. And Roquan Smith, uh, hopefully it's just not too serious, and maybe he's just kind of taking some time off. Like, he is a quote unquote veteran now, so maybe he just doesn't need the practice, even though he missed out all training camp. And Jones Jr., of course, very positive signs. I think we need him. Just how this passing game's been going, we definitely need that burst and speed.
And I love this comment right out here from Doran.
Yes.
So does this mean Jack Sanborn starts? I mean, Renewable saying, hey, Sanborn or Weatherford? I think Sanborn. Sanborn right now is listed as the backup middle linebacker. Weatherford is marked as Matt Adams' backup. To me, I'm all in. I should have brought down the Wisconsin Cup. Like, just chug the Sanborn Kool-Aid. But honestly, I would love to see it. We have not seen great production out of Roquan Smith. Do I think Jack Sanborn's better than Roquan Smith?
Oh,
No. but I do believe that Sanborn could really honestly start and probably make probably a bigger impact than what Roquan Smith has done so far. I would love to see it just because, I don't think that Sanborn's ultimately your future star linebacker, but I think that he's somebody that's going to stick on this roster for like he has that 3-year deal. I think that he stays on this roster for 3 years. So I'd love to see what you have out of him, and why not? Because we haven't had good linebacker play. I would be excited to see what he can do out there, but it's something definitely to look out for. Is Roquan going to be limited on Friday? So keep your eyes peeled. And Matt Adams was also interesting with the no participant, because I think if Adams is out as well, kind of going back to Renewable, asking about Weatherford, Sanborn, I'm curious if Weatherford ends up playing that Sam linebacker spot over like a Sanborn if Matt Adams can't go. But I think ultimately Sanborn appears to be the backup linebacker at the position. But Weatherford came from the Colts, same exact scheme. It'd be nice to see any of those guys out there. So I'm actually kind of hoping. I don't know. Are you the same way, PayPal? Like, I'm kind of hoping.
I'm the same way. I mean, it's just none of the linebackers have surprised me. Like, our big problem, or at least my biggest worry, was kind of that inside run game. But they've been actually doing decent with that. But they haven't been able to run outside and kind of stop those edges. So, maybe if we put Sanborn or Weatherford, they might know how to, kind of stop those outside runs and, secure some tackles. Because, man, we've been getting beat.
Yeah, and if you could just play competently, then you were playing better than what Roquan has done. Obviously, Roquan is better than competent linebacker play, but still, like, I would love to see that. And Renewable makes a great point. Like, it's about much more than just who's the better linebacker. It's about that 20 million in savings that Renewable put out there. Because if you can get good play out of a linebacker, and it's the whole Moneyball concept. You take 20 million, you spread it around the field. Now this team gets a heck of a lot better because of what you did. So let's move over to the Texans injury report. I also want to give the Texans and the Houston social media team some credit. This is the first injury report we've gotten that isn't just like some text on a website. It's actually well put together, nice looking, not as good as the Bears
cool graphic.
one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I think it's made for Instagram, but for those watching out there on YouTube, it's just for those listening, it's just kind of a cool little graphic with it's nice. But basically what's going on is Malik Collins did not participate Wednesday. He's a defensive lineman, limited on Thursday. Not a huge impact whether he goes or not. Brevin Jordan, tight end, did not participate Wednesday and Thursday. Yet again, not huge. Isaac Yiadom, If you remember him, he was always someone that we said we have to go after Yadam all the time. Defensive back, did not participate Wednesday or Thursday. Blake Cashman, the linebacker, will probably play. Linebacker Camus Gruger Hill is going to be playing most likely. Davis Mills, full participant. Pharaoh Brown, the tight end, most likely kind of the backup. They kind of switch around a lot of their tight ends. Did not participate today, but was full participant on Wednesday, so must have just tweaked something with his shoulder. Kurt Heinei, defensive lineman, did not participate on Thursday, and Austin Deculus was limited today on Thursday. And lots of no names.
Yes, that's what I'm noticing. It's like, are we supposed to be worried about these guys? It's like, I don't know. I can't tell if these guys are backups, starters.
It could have probably saved us a lot of time by just saying no one of importance is really like Pharaoh Brown, kind of like he's a big tight end target, and Blake Cashman is one of their big linebackers, more of like a run stuffing type of linebacker.
Yeah,
so
I like Gruger Hill too. I remember seeing some good things. I believe he's from Miami. I believe he's got some big speed and can pass rush decently. So
yeah, Whitley Collins isn't terrible. He is considered a starter at the defensive tackle spot, but yet again, nothing crazy, but has been pretty good from a pass rushing perspective. And also, we got an update from the Steelers game. Trubisky with a 1-yard TD run. Oh man.
I just Supermaned it all in there, just jumped over the D line. And
how funny would it be if like Pittsburgh was just super petty and they ran like a QB draw like what we did against the Packers, which actually I want to just kind of double in on that. Rewatching that, it isn't as bad of a play call as I think a lot of people say, because you have the head of steam, you're running forward, and when you look there, Braxton Jones just fell on his face, just flat down, and just did not look good. And so and also it was a touchdown. And I saw too, there's a statistic that it's actually better to do that than just run it out of the single back. So maybe
I'm glad you cleared that up. I'm glad you cleared that up, because when I saw the play right away too, I was like, I don't mind that, especially when you got such a big quarterback. Like, how are you supposed to stop 40 pounds, 6'2" or something, just steaming ahead? And, I feel like, and it was a touchdown too. So, yeah, and it works. And it's like, it kind of makes the defense like, okay, are they actually going to pass it? Maybe, it's when you kind of have that 3 tight end set, you're like, okay, they're going to do a QB sneak.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see. We'll see what we end up doing this week. Maybe we run it again. Who knows? As long as we score touchdowns, I'll be happy. But let's go through just so that we understand a little bit more of the Texans' additions and losses. We're going to keep on doing this for the next couple weeks, just early on. But they added a lot. Derek Stingley Jr., the cornerback, in the draft. Kenyon Green, offensive lineman. Jalen Petrie, the safety. Kyle Allen, the quarterback. Cedric Ogwehi, offensive tackle. Malik Collins, the tackle. AJ Can, a guard. Steven Nelson, the cornerback. Mario Addison, defensive end. Jalen Reeves-Maben, linebacker. Raheem Green, defensive end. And Annie Janovich, the fullback. Lots of people. This is the biggest list. They just added a whole bunch of people. And then key losses. Deshaun Watson, we already know what happened there, but he didn't really even play last year. Justin Reed, their kind of captain at safety. Jake Martin, offensive outside linebacker. Tyrod Taylor as kind of that main QB. And AJ Moore, another safety. So nothing really. There's a lot of names, but it's really what Parker was talking about last episode. It's really about the rookies, Derek Stingley Jr., Kenyon Green, and Jalen Petrie, which we will be going through. But before we get into anything more, just some news too. Just because we got to talk about it, the Justin Fields hate, especially because it's a friend of mine that I feel like kind of started it. Mikey Betts, he's been on this show before. He went viral because of his post. But honestly, what was good was Justin Fields came back and said, listen, guys, I didn't mean it. It's right afterwards. I don't want to be talked to type of thing. And I just feel like he just kind of cleared the air and he's like, listen, I didn't want to talk to the media. And it just seems like everything, he kind of cleared the air. He doesn't hate us. He doesn't hate anybody. It's an overreaction to a big loss type of feel.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he's a young player still. Like, he's still 22 years old. He's getting used to, like, what he can say to the media, what he shouldn't say to the media. He just had to realize that the fans are kind of what, you know, makes him make money, and
Yeah.
kind of the whole passion behind the Chicago Bears is the fan base. And I don't know. I don't think it was a big deal either. Like, he's just so passionate about football and he hates losing. And I honestly think it's kind of a good thing. He was saying just how he struggled just seeing, like, the whole team work so hard and then lose that game so badly.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that was almost a good sign, because you're like,
He
he
cares.
really cares about this
Yeah.
team, and, like, there's something going good, I think. So,
Yeah. He's QB1 this entire season. And we talked about it last Unbearable Weekend where he's QB1 this entire season. Like, there's no leash. He's going to get pulled at any time. He's going to be the quarterback. And we got to just give him a chance. And honestly, he has all the tools. Like, don't give up on him. If you're someone that's given up on him, it's just week 2. Like,
yep.
we're going into week 3. Like, we'll be fine. But next is Lucas Patrick is taking snaps at center. So I'm just excited to see this offensive line full force. I think that it's low key huge because Lucas Patrick is an upgrade on Sam Mustipher. And I think if you have Lucas Patrick out there, no more guard rotation with Teven Jenkins, I think that this line, all of a sudden, now you just have like kind of Braxton Jones as kind of that weak link. But I feel a lot more confident if he can be that guy.
Yeah, I love hearing Braxton Jones as our weak link, though. That's like a good
Yeah.
thing, you know? It's not like this Mustipher or who's the guy from last year? We just had so many missing pieces and so many holes in our offensive line. So it's just great. Yeah, solidifying our front five, and now they can just build and kind of gel all together.
Yeah. So also I want to just take this question, then we'll get into like some of the DVOA stuff and everything. Is it just me, or is Justin Fields an emotional roller coaster? When things are good, he's fired up. And in adversity, he withdraws. I think quarterback one needs moxie all the time. The way I feel about that is I feel like one thing he definitely did kind of have his head down, I think, last year when he was kind of getting smacked around, which I didn't really see him do in college. I think honestly, he just needs a string of success. I feel like winning cures all. It's not saying necessarily like we just need to win every single game. I just feel like we just need to move the football. I think he was just down on himself where here's this guy that thinks the world of himself and has a great head on his shoulders. And for some reason, whatever's going on is just not working. And I think for him, it's got to be tough. And I think that's got to be the hardest piece is this is his career. This is his livelihood. This is everything that he's worked towards. And I think that's where I think he's kind of down a little bit. I think he needs to string a couple good wins together, couple good games where he's actually throwing over 200 yards per
Mhm.
game and just kind of get that like, all right, this offense is looking good. Everything else is good. Cause otherwise, like what you don't want to do is you don't want a David Carr situation where he keeps getting beat up and then that affects your psyche. But that's just my feeling, my 2 cents.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we saw how happy he was when we got his first win,
Yeah.
against the 49ers. Like, he was so excited, and he just loves winning. That's simply put. And, he'll do whatever it takes to just win a football game. And I mean, that just shows how big of a competitor he is. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, so let's get going though. So I want to break out the DVOA rankings. PayPal, I don't think you've seen any of these, but
Oh God.
DVOA used to love us. And so also I looked more into DVOA for those that have any questions on it. The idea on DVOA is like if you're a running back that has 30 touchdowns or 20 touchdowns, right? But you only get your touchdowns because you're at like the 1 yard line. You wouldn't have great DVOA because it's all about the expectation, right? Like, so to me, I feel like it's all about that. DVOA is all about the expectation. So with this Bears DVOA, they rank 30th now overall after I think we were 21. Offense is now 30th and defense
Oh
is now
man.
27th, from 7 down to 27. But hey, pal, our special teams is up from 30 to 24.
That's what really matters. That's what wins you
That-
football games.
That's what wins championships here. No, the special teams went up just because we hit some extra points. It was down before because I don't believe it factors in a lot of I don't feel like it factors in a lot of the rain and everything like that. So not great. Not great at all, to say the least. But I was expecting a lot less
Wow.
out of the Texans. Yeah, wow. The Texans have a pretty high DVOA. Their overall rank is 21, which we were at last week. Offense, 26, but also defense is 16th. Special teams, 17th. Also, Torrin, yes, hit that like button. That's what you do. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Love it.
I honestly, I think they're rated so well just because of the competition they faced. Like they faced two teams that were supposed to be really good, or like playoff contending teams, and then they actually put up a good fight against the Colts. They almost won, and then the Broncos that didn't. It was a pretty close game the entire time. So I think that helped their ranks a little bit.
Yeah. And also too, I feel like when you see defense is 16th, special teams is 17th, when you watch their team too, they're very, very it's very middle of the road for this defense. You're just like,
Mhm.
okay. It kind of reminds me of the Bears last year, where
Okay.
the defense was kind of out there and minus, Jerry Hughes has been pretty good, and we'll talk about this later, but the defense just has seemed okay. But actually, let's go into this, shall we? Let's actually go into the
Good.
previews. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the Bears offense versus this Texans defense. Let's hit it up right now. And Johnny PayPal, you have this Bears offense, this running offense versus this opposing defense's rushing defense. So let me pull that up for everyone. So first off, we dominated the Packers on the run. Do you feel we're going to be able to have some of that same success against the Texans at all?
I completely agree, Brad. It's a worse defense, you'd say. The Packers defense has kind of been known, especially this year and last year, for their defense and being that, top 5 defensive team. And now we're facing the Texans. Not to crap on them, they're still good. But Melvin Gordon and the Broncos running backs were running it pretty easily, and that's kind of why they won that game last week on Sunday. So I think we just keep running the ball. It's going to be honestly maybe better. We'll see if we can get those 20-yard runs like we did last week. But
Yeah.
hey, this is the I don't know about you, but when I think of the Houston Texans, is the last time we faced them.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I believe David Montgomery had the run, quote unquote, the run, where it was the first play of the game, and it was a 60-yard run. So hey, I'm pumped for it. We'll have this new offensive line when Jenkins is in the entire time. I think Jenkins is huge with our run game. He's been fantastic in the run. It's kind of that passing, his pass blocking, and just has been all right, but he's been fabulous run blocking, and this whole offensive line really has. So I'm excited to see this running game explode.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree there too. And I'm double checking the PFF grades because I feel that same way. And actually that completely backs it up too. PFF has the Bears as a better run blocking team overall. Everyone's in kind of the green with their blocking. So
Mhm.
so yeah, but also we get a comment from Tiff. Lovey's beard doesn't play. That's right. That white beard, my God.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm like, that's not Lovey Smith on there. But it's yeah, that's him.
Yeah, it looks like if they took a story of Lovey Smith and this is Lovey Smith where he's we haven't seen him for weeks. We haven't seen him in years. And then he just comes
Yeah.
out with his big beard in
Yeah,
some
his, like, quote should be, like, they should have, like,
yeah.
claw marks or something. He just came out of the wild or something, and
Just
it's
got
like
attacked by a bear. Like, oh no, because he's a Texan, so he'll probably be like, yeah, out in the middle of nowhere, just on a
Yeah.
farm somewhere, drinking out of a big old jug with his big white beard. So yeah, but man, it was yeah, like I agree. I'm excited for them to be able to run the football and just I think it looks so good. And I hope that they just continue going at it, like you said, that this should be good. And two, I look at the linebackers. Christian Kirksey is their linebacker in the middle. Very, very like the epitome of below average. It reminds me of like a John Bostic, where he's kind
Yeah.
of been like this starter, but nobody really wants Christian Kirksey to be their starter, but he's still like a player. And I feel
Yeah.
too, overall with this team, like, and I believe it was Tiff Tiff that brought it up in the comments. The Texans are still a solid team. Like they have a bunch of it reminds me like in Madden, if you just literally just signed everybody off of free agency and just added them to your
Yep.
team. Like they just added everybody in free agency and this is the free agent roster, which
Yeah,
you
they
can
seem
win
like a
games.
new startup team that just gets all the free agents. Yeah, it's just but, yeah, I mean, they're still decent. Yeah, don't be afraid of them, but also, I think we're a better coached football team, so I'm
Yeah.
not too worried. I love what we're doing.
Yeah, my boy Donald in the comments saying, "Yeah, we need Sanborn can be a upgrade." I love it. That's how I'm feeling too. So I'm excited for it. But let's so overall with this running game. First off, I have two questions for you, PayPal. One, who do you think leads the Bears? This might be easy. Who leads in yards on Sunday? And two, who has the advantage?
Like rushing yards, like between
Yeah,
Montgomery and Herbert?
and
Montgomery.
Fields.
Oh, and
Montgomery, yeah,
Fields, I guess,
and
but
Fields.
I I think it's easy Montgomery. I think the whole is Herbert better than Montgomery kind of got shut down after last game. Your beautiful theory on why Montgomery was not doing well in the first game is, if no one
Yep.
heard it, go back to that post game review. Excellent. But yeah, Montgomery just looks so fabulous. The way he's cutting and like I don't know how he's not recognized more. Like people on the broadcast, the commentators were just like, "Oh my gosh," they were just stunned with just how shifty and how there's a reason why he was the number one running back with breaking tackles. Like
Yeah,
he's so
he's insane.
shifty. His jump cut is just out of this world, and I love watching him run the ball. It's so much fun. That was the only thing I was really getting hyped
Yeah.
against with the Packers game. But
Yeah, and I also know my boy Nate Mindham is listening from the Cue It Up Billiards podcast. So if anyone is a billiards fan, pool fan, the Cue It Up Network is the best spot for it. And what he brought up all those months ago is eventually, like when you shift around the offensive line, they should get better and better and better at that run blocking. And that's what hopefully we start
mhm.
to see more and more now that we start kind of adding everything in. But PayPal, I feel like it's pretty easy from here. You got the Bears with the advantage.
Oh yeah, I got the Bears with the advantage. It's hard. I don't think it was just how our running game was the second week and even the first week. It was just that's been our strong suit. And yeah, the offensive line, I've loved that we've been building that and just shifting all these players around because that's how players or how teams just become elite. I mean, we see the Eagles, we see the Lions now kind of coming up just because their offensive line is one of the best. Like they're scoring on average like 32 points or something a game. It's like
Yeah.
just because of their offensive line. So great work that's been going on.
Awesome. So, advantage Chicago Bears in the running attack. Now it's time to switch over for the passing. And to me, this is the biggest question for sure. And honestly, for those watching on YouTube, this is where the the thumbnail comes into play, but I also want to kind of address some comments out there too. Renewable makes the point, if it was easy to be a pro QB, everybody would be doing it. I actually also want to go back to the Broncos. If everyone remembers when the Broncos had to put in a wide receiver at quarterback, remember how bad that went? Like, here's this guy who can play quarterback at the college level, but it's just so difficult to be a pro quarterback that he just couldn't do anything, right? And
Mhm.
I think that that is a perfect example of just how difficult it is. I think a lot of people just see somebody throwing a football. It's like, I could do that in the backyard, but it's so incredibly difficult and it's so fast, so
Yeah,
nuts.
fast is the one thing. I'm like, you don't really like sometimes you'll have 2 seconds in the pocket. You're like, "What? These
Yeah.
big 300-pound guys are running at you. How can you do that?" You know? It's insane.
Oh, for sure. It's absolutely nuts. And but let's go into some of the passing. So the passing overall, this is no joke. And Torin up here in the comments was saying at one point during the Texans versus Broncos, Russ was 6 of 20. Is
Wow.
that the defense or Russ's Rusty? Russ to me also, like he just has this weird vibe to him. Like it's such a weird
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. And it just seems like that entire Broncos team, they hired the wrong guy. For sure. Like you see the game, it was awkward. And I think that's what was huge about this. But with this cover two system, if I am the Bears offensive coordinator, if I'm Luke Getzey, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at some shorter passes down the middle of the field. And this is something, the story of the game is that cover two takes away a lot of the deep plays, which Justin Fields wants to make happen. Remember, Justin Fields had some open receivers last game, but he's going for the bigger play. He likes to sit in the pocket more. He just does. And he likes to try and attack down the field. So, with this, how you can beat this short passes, middle of the field, which might be challenging for Justin Fields, but also a big piece that I really want to see. Bears Bones is out here saying, will we see Mooney or Kmet?
I
Mooney
hope
is
so.
huge for me this game because when you look at these corners, you can beat Nelson. King is really just a zone type of a guy. Desmond King is their slot corner. Stephen Nelson from the Eagles, I believe, is their outside corner. But Stingley Jr. has really struggled so far. It's early on in his career. But remember, the Packers were able to take advantage of a rookie corner. We should be able to take advantage of this rookie corner. Justin Fields, your boy is Darnell Mooney. Connect with Darnell Mooney. If you start to feel some pressure, look number 11's way. And I think that he can have a big breakout game. And the reason why I'm also excited is because somebody in my Bears fantasy, I'm in a fantasy league of all Bears podcasts, and someone actually dropped Darnell Mooney. So I'm like,
Wow.
yoink. I think I have the waiver pick. So I'm like, claim. So I think that he's going to have a big game. That I hope that he has a big game this week because you need to get back to passing it to your receivers, your good receivers, Darnell Mooney and also Cole Kmet. The problem, though, and I believe someone mentioned it up in the comments, was asking about Cole Kmet. Renewable was saying he's been getting owned. The biggest thing is Kmet is just being matched up. Like I saw he only averaged 1 yard of separation when on average people get 2.9. He's been terrible at creating separation, terrible at going out there. I think right now it's the confidence with this Bears team is that we have this vet that we can trust is going to be in the right spot, but Kmet still seems a little skittish maybe for those players. I think
Mhm.
Mooney, if anyone, is going to have the game today. And I really hope that part of this game plan is we are going to stick it to these corners and we're going to establish the run. And let's not overthink this. Let's get our best weapon in Darnell Mooney active early so that he can take advantage of some of these players. But PayPal, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I you're spot on with all that because I did a little spying, of course. I always do that. Just
Yeah.
listen to some, the opposing team's podcasts and stuff. And yeah, they were saying The weakness is the middle of the field. Like slants have been killing them. Just those quick little passes have been killing them. So we have just put Mooney in the slot and just start cooking, like we have the speed on the wideouts too, where it's like, it's fine if we do short little dump offs. Like they got the speed to where, a 3-yard catch can turn into 10, 20 yards. Like we've seen it from Dante Pettis. We've seen it from EQ. It's like, it's incredible. I mean, I don't know why we just don't do it more. And hopefully Justin Fields can get that kind of quicker throws in.
And PayPal, I think that you just stated the story of the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be if Luke Getsy do we have an offensive coordinator that can change the scheme, shift it around? We haven't seen a bunch of slants out there, a bunch of the quick slants. And if that's their Achilles heel, that's their weakness. That's how you beat a lot of these cover twos, because the middle linebacker has to drop real deep. If that's how you can win and that's how you can do it, can we shift our game plan to start attacking the weakness in this defense? Yet again, it's not just as easy as like, hey, just run these quick little slants and game over. And then they're like, what are they doing?
Yeah. Just
it's much
press
more
X on the Xbox controller, and all right, there's quick slants. And
then they're like, we don't know how to change. We don't know how to fix this.
Yeah, just keep running it.
Yeah. What are they going to do next? Yeah, like it's not as simple as that, but it's going to be the big piece. And they talked about having more of a balanced offense with this team, and I think that's going to be key. And also just with up front, I feel this is a game that should be advantageous for this defense, for this offensive line, because you flip over to the other side, who they got? Jerry Hughes is really the only guy that you need to really worry about. The ageless wonder. Also on the show, when Parker was talking about it, he said Obo Okoronkwo is someone as well, another defensive end to be on the lookout for, a little undersized. I personally feel like that we're going to have Braxton Jones, and Braxton Jones should be able to handle him pretty well. But also in the middle, Malik Collins, and also they have Roy Lopez. Roy Lopez, not a good defensive tackle. Not a lot of good players on the interior of this defensive line. So I feel like our offensive line is actually better. I feel very good.
Wow.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to say that in I don't know how long.
Yeah. And I feel too, going back to what Tiff said up top, how this is something like this could be a difficult game. What I feel we're going to see out of this defense, their defense is going to be good. It's going to be like, if it's all going to be up to us. Like if we play bad, they're going to take advantage of it. If we play well, we can take advantage of them. This is going to be something that we need our ducks in a row. We need to play well. And you know what? I honestly go back and forth on this because we have to show it. But I feel like we are going to do well against this team, against the Texans. And I'm going to give ourselves our advantage because I think, yet again, I think with this, we're coming out with fire. Justin Fields is going to be pissed. We have our new offensive lineman with Lucas Patrick back there. I think that this team's going to come to play at home. And yet again, hungry fans. We are just super emotional. So we just need, I think home games are going to just hit different, but also renewable with a great point. Borum has been suspect against bull rushes. Yeah, I agree there. Borum to me loves to absorb contact. Like I feel like he doesn't really let a lot of people around him.
Yep.
He more so just lets himself get bulldozed back, which really throws off Justin Fields because he's like, so do I run? Do I run up? Like, do I still have time here? I think that really does kind of affect him a little bit.
Yes.
But there we go. Bears offense advantage. Let's go. Take that, DVOA. We're the better team.
Yeah, I think the whole story of that is we faced the Packers and the 49ers, like two top 5 defenses. And now we can actually hopefully show how actually good or decent this offense can be. Like when we don't face a top 10 defense.
For sure. That's a really good point. We aren't going against a top 10 defense anymore. Like to me, I think that this is like, they are they're
all right.
Yeah. They're the most 16th ranked defense like of all time. They just seem
Mhm.
like it's just going to be the most basic people and basic play calling. Like I said, it's going to be all about, is the offense going to play well or is the offense going to be bad? But let's flip over to this Chicago Bears defense. Johnny PayPal, you have this opposing passing attack versus our passing defense. I guess what do you have to say about one Davis Mills?
Davis Mills, I think he's not gonna tear you up. Okay, he's one of those quarterbacks. He's not gonna be bombing it deep. He doesn't really have the weapons for that. I guess you could say Brandin Cooks has that speed, but we haven't really been seeing him use Brandin Cooks like he's been used in the past of just throwing it deep to him, using his speed. So first off, I'm just not too afraid of Davis Mills compared to Aaron Rodgers or a Trey Lance. But he if we do make mistakes on the defensive end of ball, we will kind of be paid for it. Like he's just like the defense we're talking about. He's a decent quarterback, and he's like that filler quarterback that they kind of have. Like they just want to kind of get through the year. He's kind of he's kind of
Yeah.
filling that role. Like he's good, but he's not amazing. So I'm not too worried about him. I think this is a guy that we could sack really a lot. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a sackable quarterback, but he also knows how to move around in the pocket. Trey Lance is a big tough guy, so I think this might be one of those quarterbacks where we'll see maybe 4 sacks against.
Yeah. I I'm looking for it. And yes, as Lovey will probably say, Davis is our quarterback. you know, as shout out to Rex is our quarterback. But I agree here too, because also this is a standard offensive line like that what we've seen, right?
Mhm.
To me, they're weak in the middle with Kenyon Green, Quessenberry, and Can. Like not great pass blocking in that interior. So hopefully we can kind of get past them. But Howard is having a pretty good season after a pretty bad year 1 and year 2, or year 1, year 2, and year 3. Titus Howard playing for that new contract, the former Alabama State Hornet. Playing for the new contract, but Laramie Tunsil is still Laramie Tunsil. He's still a good left tackle, solid player, not in my opinion at the level of a Trent Williams, but a good left tackle in this league. So yeah, yet again, Quinn is going to be in a in it's going to be another game. So PayPal, what backup defensive end do you think is actually going to get the sacks this time?
Gosh,
Get 2
Brad,
sacks.
I hope we can just play both of them. Why can't we play Demarcus Robinson and Gibson like we did week 1? I mean, I still don't know why that happened. I don't know if you heard anything why that happened, but Demarcus Robinson looked amazing week 1. Put him back out there, have him have his fun, get 2 more sacks, and maybe Gibson can also get 2 sacks too. So there's the 4 sacks I was talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we have a big chance we've faced amazing tackles before. I think we're not scared of them. I mean, we've already faced that talent. Um, but we'll see if they, I guess, more on the cornerbacks and defensive backs versus the wide receivers now. Still, let's just see. Are we worried about Kyler Gordon? I'm still a little bit worried. Our defensive coordinator was kind of talking highly of him, of he's a smart player, he's going to learn from it. We'll see. Hopefully he can learn. He was just getting beat up against the Packers. That seemed like the only guy that was giving up receptions against the Packers.
Yep.
Jaylon Johnson has not been touched
Jeez.
at all. I mean, I've even been noticing they don't even run towards him. A lot of the run plays have been going the opposite side of Jaylon Johnson, just because he's always punching the ball, always doing the hits principle. But hey, I'm hoping one of these corners can get a pick. Hopefully they can get an interception and kind of bring life to this cornerback room, because we've only seen big plays from these safeties. We've only seen Eddie Jackson and Brisker doing plays out there. So hopefully Kyler Gordon, Vildor, we need some help. we need some help. I wish we had Thomas Graham right now.
Yes, I wish we had our boy TG2 back here. But can we just give some love to Eddie Jackson real quick? Just like a moment of praise for Eddie Jackson. He's been playing very well. He's been playing good ball, and he's been playing a lot better than what he did before. He already has an interception, obviously. He is coming down and making some tackles. Yet again, he's still Eddie Jackson. He's not going to be Adrian Amos and be making those big plays. Brisker needs to be doing that, and Brisker has missed a lot of tackles. He just needs to shore that stuff up. But PayPal, like when I look at this matchup too, I'm curious about like if I were the Bears, I would keep Jaylon Johnson on Brandin Cooks as much as possible because I feel like if you could just keep your best guy like Jalen Island on Brandin Cooks, now you force Nico Collins. Now you force Chris Moore to beat you, or OJ Howard, Pharaoh Brown to beat you in the passing game. And that to me, I would, even though that they don't like switching, we haven't seen them switch corners to different sides. It doesn't seem like they would, but it's something to at least think about, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. One problem I have is I just don't like our team and man coverage. I feel like when we were facing the Packers, it was just even against those receivers where you can argue they probably have one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the entire league. They were still beating up on Vildor. They were still beating up on Kyler Gordon. So I love the idea of Jaylon Johnson. I mean, he did it last year. We put him on like Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson did nothing. Put him on Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams did nothing. It's like he is the most underrated corner in the entire league. I can say that with confidence because he doesn't get picks. He doesn't put up stats, but that's because he's just locking his guys down. So
it's hard to get interceptions when I think in some spots they say that he's never been targeted. In another stat, someone said they did, but basically nobody goes after Jalen. And that's, and I feel too, like Lovey and just, this offense, we talked about it on the previous show that it's probably going to be a very vanilla offense. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing sexy. So if you all of a sudden throw them off and they're like, because they're probably going to be like, yeah, Cooks is just going to be on the right side. All of a sudden, Jalen goes on the right. They're like, well, there goes the game plan.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, you do still have Vildor. But I think the only thing that would be negative about that is you've already talked about, like, they were already talking about Kyler Gordon. Did they put too much on his plate being slot and being outside? Like, if you're in base defense and you say, well, now you're playing on Jalen's side, is that too much for him? Like, is that big of a deal that now he has to understand those coverages? Because it's not just like, all right, now it's not a video game where now he's on the opposite side. He has to understand the coverages that go into play for everything. He's a professional, so yes, he should kind of know, but you never know. We don't have the playbook in front of us.
Exactly. Yeah, we even saw him in the running game kind of struggle with Kyler Gordon when he was on the outside. He would kind of play like a slot and try to like just get the running back from the inside. And it's like you're on the outside, kind of seal the outside so the running back has to cut back inside against, hopefully get tackled by a linebacker or defensive line.
For sure. So the big question, who has the advantage?
Oh,
Brad. Bears pass defense?
This honestly, I think this might be my toughest one. I was going to say Bears would win out on the offensive end. I think one thing is just they have Davis Mills. I'm not too scared about him. Their wide receivers, I'm not too scared about either. Brandin Cooks, he doesn't. You know what? We'll say the Bears are beating them on this passing end because they only let up maybe 200 yards against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
San Francisco, not many passing yards against them. It's been the running game, which you'll have to take care of, Brad. But that is kind of been the story of the Bears this season, is stopping their run. So I will
Yep.
give the Bears the win on this passing attack.
Well, thank you, PayPal, because you're gonna probably make me look like the bad guy like you did last
Yeah.
week. But also Willie Beeman totally reminded me of something that I was gonna call out too. I was gonna ask you this, PayPal.
Oh my gosh.
Travis Gibson, I don't know why Al-Qadim Muhammad is somebody to me that it's like, you got this guy to be and this is going to be my point to start out the running. You got Al-Qadim Muhammad to be the veteran, right? He's supposed to be the knowledgeable guy that can be in the right spots, play his gaps, and play well so that you can stop the run. Al-Qadim Muhammad has been terrible against the run. When you rewatch the film, a lot of the are they always able to go to the outside? Yes, Muhammad isn't going to be like absolutely locking down the edge every time, but when you completely go inside, like they just let him run to the inside. And because of that, everyone has a wide open right side of the field. It's just put Travis Gibson in.
Yeah.
We've seen Gibson. We've seen Dominique Robinson. It's just let these young guys that have the talent, not just someone who tries really, really hard, let them do it, because Muhammad is not showing that he deserves to be a starter.
Yeah, I agree. He seems almost like a rookie, like where he just plays really hard, and then it's like, on like a screenplay, he's like, "Oh my god, I'm unblocked. I'm just gonna run and get the quarterback." It's like, no, you're unblocked because they want you to be unblocked and run. It's like he's got to think about the play and where he should be and kind of going towards the ball. So I
Yeah.
completely agree. Travis Gibson, he's looked a lot better. He did not look
He did.
that good this preseason, and now he's been looking a lot better. So I don't know why. I have not heard Muhammad's name. I just don't see him doing anything out there. So
I see him
make
as
this
more
tough.
of a hindrance. Yeah, for sure. He's more of a hindrance right now. See what the younger players have. The more talented, they are more talented. And right now, Muhammad just reminds me of like a coach's kid, right? Or like
Yeah.
like in like little league or like middle school basketball, like the kid that's just running from sideline to sideline. But when they get the ball in their hands, they don't know what to do and they just like freeze up. Because like as soon as he gets past his guy, he's like, "I did it!" And then it's like, "Oh, they're running the opposite way." Like, come on, like
Well, and he's from the Colts, so it's like, oh, this is my guy, I gotta keep him playing.
Yeah. So yeah, Muhammad, don't want to see him out there, but let's go through this running. So we already kind of broke down some of this offensive line. So the Bears are going to be going to get like Tunsil, Green, Quessenberry, Howard are kind of the offensive linemen on the inside for the Texans. And Damian Pierce seems to be the guy now officially. So that's the thing. He seems to officially have that, but also Rex Burkhead might be more of a change of pace type of a running back that they throw in to throw some people off. He has that upside as a pass catching back. Damian Pierce, though, fierce runner, does not want to go down. We talk about Muhammad kind of playing like a rookie almost. Pierce plays like a rookie as a running back, does not want to go down, fights with everything that he's trying to do. And to me, Pierce is going to be difficult to bring down. I mean, if Jack Sanborn's your linebacker, then that's a different story. But just kidding. But I think what we end up doing at this linebacker position, this is honestly what I feel. I feel like, let's say both Matt Adams and Roquan Smith aren't able to be out there. Okay. If Roquan isn't out there, I think Jack Sanborn plays middle linebacker. Jack Sanborn has got a lot of snaps at middle linebacker in the preseason, is listed as the backup for Roquan Smith, but also wild card. I think that the person that comes in for Matt Adams, if he can't play, is Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas is still on the practice squad, and you can elevate two people off of your practice squad. Joe Thomas was the starting Sam linebacker for most of the preseason because Roquan Smith wasn't out there. I think that Joe Thomas makes an appearance against his former team, the Houston Texans, as that Sam linebacker. So that's something that I am definitely looking out for. And I think that that would be a good linebacking core. I want to see that because I want to see something different Nicholas Morrow, Roquan Smith, that duo does not seem to be working well together. In particular, Roquan Smith. Morrow hasn't been that bad. Morrow hasn't been great either, but Roquan Smith's been really bad. Like,
Yeah,
and
let's just bring up Gates and Sanborn right now. We love that duo. Big Gates and
yeah,
Sanborn duo.
yeah, bring both of them up.
They are the best duo out there,
In
you know,
the league.
in the league. I can't
So,
think of a better
yeah,
linebacking duo. Well, yeah,
yeah,
we were saying Jordan and Pippen. That's
yeah, Jordan.
basically
Yep.
we're gonna be saying that with with Gates and Sanborn.
Gates and Sanborn. Name a better duo in the NFL anywhere. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams.
No way.
DeMarquise Gates and Sanborn. Let's go. But I think in all honesty, you have like if Sanborn's in there, I really want to see him out there because I think too, if you see Sanborn out there playing, imagine the tape session in the linebacker room where
Yeah.
darn well every single week they've been like Roquan and another low for you missing this tackle, another low for you not being around the ball, another low for you taking on too early and not flowing with the player. And then they go to Sanborn and they're like, Sanborn, nice game. Only a couple
Yeah,
loops.
right.
Like, and here's the thing. Sanborn is not a game-changing linebacker. He's just he's a solid player, good head on his shoulders. And the big question is honestly still his tackling ability, shorter arms. It was a problem with him at Wisconsin, something to look out for. But let's actually keep on moving on. Renewable was talking about Quinn. Quinn is someone to be on the lookout for, at least in this game, because we talk about the edges, sealing the edge. Quinn has not been phenomenal, and he's been going against good competition. Yes, he got a sack against Josh Nijman, but you would like to see him get a little bit more pressures against a backup tackle. A good backup tackle in Josh Nijman on the Packers, but still, you want to see a little bit more out of him as this guy that we expect to play like a Pro Bowl caliber player. That's why I was always in the belief, trade him. And
Yeah.
that's what Renewable was saying, give him a month and get rid of him. So that's something that I just want to see, like, hopefully Quinn can get better because, like, you got to see better play out of him. And then hopefully we can get a sack out of our defensive interior.
Yeah, I think he's been like the second most double teamed
Really? I haven't
line.
seen that.
Yeah, he's been the second most double teamed outside linebacker in the entire league. So I was like, who would have thought? This old guy, I guess people have really been studying up. Like, yeah, he had a lot of sacks last year. So even though he got no, defensive player nominees or comeback player of the year nominees, so yeah, I think he's not been producing as well just because he's been double teamed. And how is this old guy supposed to take on two people? He's getting up there in age, and he only does speed moves. So
yeah. So let's see. Exactly. Let's see some of these young players. I hope that they can do some good things, but we're still focusing in on the run. And I think ultimately what it comes down to is I don't trust this run defense yet. Matt Eberflus was saying they need a cup better, where you're kind of grouping around them. A lot of people were not disciplined in keeping in front, like being in the right spot so that you kind of cup them to a linebacker, to someone who should be able to make the tackle. Jaquan Brisker, make the tackles. Wrap up. If you can't make the tackles, then don't be going for the strip if you can't make the tackle. Because if you can make the tackle and it's only 3 yards, that's huge. He needs to get better at that, and it's something I'm watching out for. And because of this, I am still giving the edge to the Houston Texans and Pierce. Even though there's no, like, this is definitely the running back. Pierce runs hard. Pierce does not want to go down. We have a difficult time with some of the running backs, going down. And so that's my biggest fear. Even though that Parker did say they like to run it up the middle a lot rather than on the outside edges, which if that is true and they're just running up the middle, I feel a lot better, which is my complete opposite way I felt at the beginning of the season. but I just don't trust these defensive ends. Like seriously, like with run stuff.
Yeah, I think yeah, you said it's like they have to watch film though too. I think any
Yeah.
person that has 2 brain cells can figure out that, okay, why did AJ Dillon not run well? And why did Aaron Jones average like 10 yards or whatever crazy number it was per run? And it's like, yeah, he just ran it on the outside towards those terrible ends. And I don't know about you, Brad, that just makes me miss Khalil Mack even more because it was like, okay, Khalil Mack's on that side. Don't need to
Yeah.
worry about them running on that side. And Akeem Hicks. It's like, all
Yeah.
right.
We talk about it. Like what made Khalil Mack the best edge rusher out there was the
Yep.
way that he could seal that edge. And yeah, you're not going to expect anything out of him, but anything. It's the same piece, the creeping back towards average. So the big thing is going to be like you just need average play. Your backup defensive ends, Travis Gibson and Dominic Robinson, give you that average play over someone like Al Qadim Muhammad. And hopefully, if Sanborn is playing, or Roquan Smith pulls something out of his butt and finally plays well, then we can at least start to see good. But I'm giving the edge over to the Texans. So we shall see what ends up happening. But yeah, hopefully Eddie Jackson doesn't get trucked because Pierce is always slamming that truck stick. But PayPal, we have gone through the offense and we have gone through the defense. It is time for everyone's favorite segment, the special teams review. PayPal, do you have anything for this special teams review?
I it's the same every week. Bells Jones, I hope you come back. Gil, loving what you're doing, man. I've seen sad seeing O'Donnell out there, but like you can tell Pat O'Donnell's not that good of a punter. He's just kind of that sexy punter that just kicks it really far and people are like, oh my God, he's insane. And it's like, well, if he was really good, he would have pinned it within the 20 instead of getting a touchback. Gil's that just classic punter. Like he just will pin it inside the 20, and that's all you want from our punter. So Santos doing great. Still just, yep, we just need our missing punt returner and kick returner and Bells Jones Jr.
Yep. And also, just because Donald called this out with like Sanborn takes on blocks and sheds them, Smith just tries to run around him, and that's totally it. Smith, I remember seeing, and real quick on Roquan Smith, it's just going to be the crap on Roquan Smith show today until he proves us wrong. But I saw a play, and I want to clip this, but Roquan Smith got pushed back like literally more than 10, 15 yards. Like some guy just blocked him and just kept on carrying him. And you're like, there's our all pro linebacker. Like, like, there he goes. Like, you're like, and it's just one guy. It wasn't like they double teamed him and they took him on. That's the problem with him. He needs to get past that stuff. He needs to assert his dominance, and he hasn't this year. Makes Ryan Poles look like a genius right now. But yeah, we shall see. I don't think ISM is going to get any reps at wide receiver. But let's see. Let's talk about the return game though too. Ebner, to me, I know that there's a lot of people that listen to this show that are huge Ebner fans. Like, I just don't see it. He hasn't shown anything to me. He's shown that he's a change of pace when it comes down to the preseason. But when you put on the tape with him against NFL talent, like the starters, the people that are out there on the kick return, I don't see some amazing things. I see some shiftiness for sure, but I don't see anything like next level compared to like what Bayless would be able to do. So Bayless, we miss you. Use that little your little massage gun to kind of
get the hamstring.
Yeah, get a new massage gun for your hammies because that one's not working. Because that's what we got to see out there. But PayPal, you were really accurate with your prediction last week. You predicted 27-17 and the Bears losing, and you were correct. I mean, you're practically correct with that. Yeah, very, very, very close with that.
I was
And
expecting him to count that second touchdown, you know?
yeah,
It was technically correct, but
yeah.
yeah.
So, but also for the overall predictions.
Oh, look at us.
We are all 100%. Quarter 4, the simulation that I run, had a win in the very early preseason ones, but I run it right before the game again, just to kind of double check what did the sim say? The sim gave the Packers like a over 70% chance of winning, and as we know, they won. So we were all 100% correct. You predicted losses, and the week before, 49ers, we all predicted wins. So that means whatever we're going to say should happen, right? So PayPal, what is your prediction, and what is kind of your bold prediction that happens?
So I again, like I mentioned earlier, is that last time we played Houston in Houston, where that was like the first game I remember that season. Maybe it was with Mitch, where our offense was terrible, nothing was going right, and then we faced the Texans, and then our offense just boomed. Like we were passing it well, we were running it well, everything was going great, and our defense was playing out of its mind. So I just kind of get memories with that. We're playing at home now, so I'm definitely taking this as a win. Um, my hot take, we will. I think we will get a pick from Vildor. Or no, we'll get a
Ooh,
pick from Kyler Gordon. We'll get a pick from
ah,
Kyler Gordon. He will, he'll study film more. He will really grind down everything that our defensive coordinator has been talking about. Like he's a smart guy. He will learn from his mistakes, and he will really buckle down this week and get an interception.
nice.
So for the rookie, he'll get his first interception, and obviously we will win the game. Win the game.
So will he get the game ball too
Ooh.
at the end?
I think he's got to. I mean,
Awesome.
if he gets an interception, he will get the game ball after a horrendous week. He will get the game ball, and yeah, it'll
Here
be a
we
dub.
go.
And honestly, I've heard so many people kind of saying this is going to be a low scoring game. I've heard takes that it's going to be like 10-17. The game's just going to be very dragged on. And then the fourth quarter, the Bears are just going to win from the kind of being that mentally tough teams that just kind of stays in games. I think this is when we're going to see our offense shine. We talked about it. We're actually facing a okay defense rather than an elite defense. And Justin Fields is not happy that they lost. And he's been waking up earlier. He's been grinding film before everyone else. He's been 4:30 instead of 6 o'clock. So I'm saying, ooh, this is where it gets. This is where you have to add up the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm saying 31-10. I'm saying,
31-10.
yeah, I'm saying it's gonna be a big game from the Bears.
And
And I don't
yeah,
know if I'm crazy, Brad,
I like it.
but
Crazy but
I
good.
I'm just loving the Bears this week, and not saying anything bad about the Texans. It's just I think this Bears team is hungry, and they're just all they're it's we can sense the togetherness and all this like passion that they have. You know, they hate losing, and I can just see them be fierce this week.
Yeah, I'll take it. Also, you just started breaking up a little bit, so it's perfect.
Dang.
You got your stuff in, you got it all good. Then your Wi-Fi is like, I'm out of here, right? So, but also Parker yesterday, actually, or 2 days ago, said, yeah, I think it was like 27-10. He believes that the Bears are going to blow him out. I am sticking with. I think this is going to be a tough game. I talked about this in my early preview predictions. I think that this is going to be a very difficult game. I think that a lot of us think it's going to be us. Like, I think it's going to be easy. I think that they're going to play a very hard fought game. Good thing, though, is I mean, the Colts look terrible, and that was the team that they tied with. And Denver looked terrible, and that's the team that they beat. Also, the Bears always play bad in prime time against the Packers at Lambeau Field. This is a tradition as old as time, or at least in the past 10 years. So to me, I just honestly feel like it's going to be low scoring. I'm going to go 17-14 or 17-16. We'll keep it close. Bears. Yeah, I think that maybe they get a handful of like a whole bunch of field goals because we bend but don't break. They're going to run it. We're going to stop it. And yeah, 17-16, a good, well-fought game for this Chicago Bears team. But PayPal, and for those watching on YouTube, you might have seen that I pulled up a little something. I'm going to do a live simulation for the final prediction. Oh, and I haven't predicted my big player. You know what? I'm going to give Davis Mills. What? I'm going to give my player of the game to Sanborn. If Sanborn's playing, my boy is going off. Let's go. Jack Sanborn.
That's the key. If he does play.
If Jack Sanborn gets a game ball, I will. If Jack Sanborn plays and gets the game ball and is like my player of the game, I will give away a Jack Sanborn jersey for like subscribers. I'll do that. Like, yeah, if you're subscribed, we'll put a giveaway together or something, because that is the boy of this show. But let's click on this simulate and see what quarter 4 has to say. Wish we had a drum roll animation. The anticipation is crazy. Let's see. And here we go. The simulation results: Bears win 61.9%. Let's go to the Houston Texans 38.1 according to quarter4.io. And they are predicting Justin Fields 173 passing yards, Davis Mills with 226. So still don't think that he's going to do too much. Overall, with just rushing yards, Damien Pierce, they're predicting 89 rushing yards, averaging 5.2 yards per rush. Khalil Herbert, they're predicting 22 yards. And also Montgomery, only 50. So I don't know how the Bears are winning this game. They don't like it. It must be a defensive fought battle, because not too much. But let's see if anyone's getting sacks. Al-Qadim Muhammad, the most hated player right now. 0.4 sacks with Angelo Blackson, 0.4. These are Sims. Dominique Robinson, though, with 0.7 sacks. Let's go. Always fun to kind of just see what this stuff pulls up. But they have the Bears winning. And so far, they have been 100%. We've been 100%. So that means stats. The numbers don't lie. We're going.
We don't lie either.
Yeah,
we're
we don't lie.
Literally always correct.
This is 100% of the time this year. So that does it for our show. Hopefully you guys love this. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube. Comment down below. Like, just bear down, whatever you want. It helps with engagement. It helps to boost the show. We are going to have Kenneth Davis on Saturday morning, members only live chat, and then I will post it out to everyone else afterwards. But you can join our members program on YouTube. Just have to click on our channel and you can see that and get some benefits. It's the best way to help support the show, besides just listening, subscribing, and commenting. But also you can follow us out everywhere. Just search for Unbearable Sports or download the show. But thank you guys so much. Hopefully we will be talking to you with a 2-1 Chicago Bears team.
Let's go.
And Unbearable Sports Podcast. We're out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.